Alright, so let's just jump straight into game 3. I have no idea if this is honestly a best of 5 or best of 3. I don't get that kind of information, unfortunately, from the Aoe2 HDOZ clan. I just sort of get emailed matches and just commentate them. So I have no idea. Either way, I do have a game 3, which means that it must not be a best of 3 since Bomberland has taken the first 2 games. So we're just gonna roll with it, I suppose, and jump straight into game 3. I don't know. Because this is the same 2 players, so it couldn't possibly be a best of 3. Alright, so Persians versus Japanese on Arena, so that's actually pretty cool. Ooh, I love watching people play on the Arena. I think it's a really cool map, and god damn it, Bomberland has the better map generation again. HallisYoScholar is getting schooled by the map generation this time. Wow, that is unfortunate. Rather unfortunate it is. Oh god, because if you look at this, Bomberland has so much more room to build. And he's got 2 completely protected gold mines and a stone mine completely safe in the back. And, yeah, I mean, both players have a main gold and main stone in the front, but that doesn't matter, because HallisYoScholar has almost all of, like, none of his resources are really quite safe. Wow. That is unfortunate. So anyway, what is the difference between Arena and other maps? What should we expect to see from our players? That is the question. Well, the fast castle age strategy is definitely quite prevalent on Arena, and that should be obvious because these stone walls that you start with are really quite tanky, and your feudal age units, you know, maybe besides men-at-arms, don't really do much damage to that. It's just super easy to defend against any feudal age aggression that your opponent might be doing on a map like Arena, like if he's swarming you with men-at-arms for some reason. That is a huge investment in his part and really going to slow down his castle age, and you know, you can just harass them with archers or watchtower and whatnot, so that ain't going to happen. But yeah, this map generation, that is tragic. Tragic. Alright, so anyway, Arena. Arena things you should keep in mind, yeah, so the fast castle age is the more prevalent strategy here that you'll find. And there are a lot of units here. It just really boils down to a castle age war, and relics also make a pretty significant difference. You'll find that monks are a relatively common unit on Arena and whatnot. Really the idea of the fast castle age is you're really going to need that siege workshop if you want to get really any major aggression done. Absolutely, he's going to get the war now. So I'm just expecting to see both players just boom up. Like, look at all these. He's got sheep in the back too. Like, not necessarily the most even map generation, but hey. Arena's sort of a classic one with that, but who knows? Maybe HallisYoScholar is going to win this one anyway. Alright, so both players are just going to boom up here. I'll expect them to advance at the standard, like, 27 or 28 population, get to the feudal age, spend as little time in the feudal age as possible, so, like, they'll put down, like, a blacksmith and a market immediately, or they'll go for, like, a barracks and stable and then a blacksmith, and really just go straight to the castle age. Both players will be basically, you know, designing their economy based around that idea. One thing to keep in mind is that on a map like Arena, your villagers are not vulnerable to harass at all from the opponent, so you know, skipping loom is a pretty common thing, and HallisYoScholar has actually got his loom here. That's pretty unnecessary, but it doesn't make a big difference, honestly. Alright, yeah, so it's just going to be the booming from both players here, and yeah. Good to see some pretty nice ecos out here. Sheep getting harvested. Bomberland noticing that he happened to just have an extra sheep in the back, and that his stuff is quite well defended. Yeah, thankfully though, is that HallisYoScholar didn't get cheated too badly with his boars, because sometimes your boar will be like right here, and you won't have a gate here, so you'll have to basically delete a hole in your wall if you want to lure that. So that's always tragic, because, you know, that one hole in your wall, you're going to have to fill it with a palisade or a house or something, and that'll actually be a weak point that your opponent will most definitely exploit. Here's something really weird, though, is that HallisYoScholar did not get 100% cheated in his map generation here. he actually has 2 relics in his wall off, and that is almost unheard of. Just having 2 relics for free, that is pretty good. That is pretty good. I don't know if I would have traded it in this case, but that's going to make quite the difference. So yeah, both players going with their mining camp now. Bomberland laughing maniacally as his gold is unharassable. And yes, we got the 27 out of 30 here, and from both players, super standard. Blacksmith and Marky coming out. And then HallisYoScholar will be up in just a minute. Yep. And I assume the Blacksmith and Market is coming out as well. Castle Age coming out. It's extremely fast from our Bomberland fellow. Very, very efficient here. And we got the Blacksmith and Market here. You'll notice that both players have more villagers build their market than they do on the Blacksmith. And that's because the market takes approximately 7,000 years to actually build. So you want to saturate it with more villagers if you can. Yeah, and it looks like he's going to go a little heavier into gold. He might want to have to delete these stone walls so he can saturate a little bit further, and I think he's going to do that really soon. Alright, yeah, so Bomberland is just a teeny bit faster here. Both players, though, are going to have exceptional Castle Age times. Yeah, both players will have exceptional Castle Age times. HallisYoScholar is going to be somewhere around like a 1630, and then we're going to have like a 1530 from Bomberland here, which is going to be ridiculous. Another smart thing that we see plenty of experienced arena players do is that they sort of base their, they lay out their base in a way that their buildings and whatnot can really, really protect them. And yeah, this little extra stone wall right here and whatnot is going to be really, really easy to defend this. You know how he put his Blacksmith and Market like right next to each other. So he's has like a wall off inside of his wall off, which is going to be quite significant. So, ooh, we have a barracks from HallisYoScholar right now. Ooh, and he has so many villagers on stone. I wonder what this means. Perhaps a super fast castle of some sort? Alright, so we got an extra town center coming out right now. Incredibly smart. You want to really get your economy going if you can. You want half of the total max population to be villagers if you can. So, yeah, we got monks coming out from Bomberland. This is pretty standard opening from him, is to get this ridiculously, inhumanly fast Castle Age time. Just goes to show how great he's been playing. Not a second of idle time on that town center, basically. You want it to always either be making villagers or researching a technology, and Bomberland was really doing that this game. So he's going to try and go pick up as many relics as he can right now, and perhaps do some harassment with these monks. Spearmen here, that's kind of interesting. Not sure what's up with that. You know, sometimes you'll see some players go into like a stable with some light cavalry, or maybe like a barracks with eagle warriors, deal with the early monks, but I don't know. I think he's going to try and really prevent Bomberland from getting this relic, although I'm not sure how effective that will be with spearmen. Ideally, you'd want some sort of ranged units. Oh my, he's pulling off 4 foragers. Is this some sort of awesome forward castle all in? Yes! Oh my god, I love this. HallisYoScholar is making me squeal. Oh, this is great. This is great. He is going man mode! Yeah! Yeah, buddy! This is exactly what I like. I'd like to see this. You know, you can't just be aggressive. You have to be extremely aggressive. I love this forward castle nonsense. Oh, this is great. And he's got the Scale Veil Arbor too. Bomberland is probably like, shit. And here comes the Siege Workshop. HallisYoScholar, he's going in. And yeah, he's got this monastery here, so he's going to have monks as well. The reason why you'll see monks on Arena as a more common unit is because they're super effective against the pesky knights that you see in every game of Age of Empires 2. And they're also quite good against mangonels, which are a really common unit on Arabia as well. You can just convert those mangonels, and it just becomes like a mangonel and monk war, which is going to be pretty cool. Alright, so HallisYoScholar's got a Siege Workshop out, and oh, we got the double Siege Workshop from Bomberland. I dig it. Now, one thing to note is that what HallisYoScholar is doing is as all in as it gets. This is all in as you see him, because you know Bomberland's got 2 town centers, and he's really investing in his economy behind this. Whereas HallisYoScholar has said, "Fuck the economy, I am going in. It is all or nothing." You know. he really doesn't have much to lose, and I think this is really, really intelligent decision on his part. And that just goes to show that HallisYoScholar knows his stuff. Is that, you know, he's down 2 games in this series, might as well. You know, if he's gonna go out in this series, he better go out with a bang, and it's gonna be one hell of a bang. We got mangonels coming out from both players. His villagers are whipping out their daggers and stabbing that wall. HallisYoScholar means business, and he's coming. He's coming. He's just got to remember to have his castle target that wall again. Alright, yeah, so the forward push is coming. We'll see if Bomberland can defend this. I still love, though, how Bomberland has laid out his base. It is really, really cool when you can see how people use their bases as sort of a makeshift wall off behind his wall. And the idea that with this is that he can have his mangonels on the other side of this and just, you know, mangonel monk war here. It's going to be pretty cool. One thing, though, that's going to be a problem is as soon as HallisYoScholar gets in here, this monastery is right at the front. It's going to be extremely vulnerable. And if he loses that monastery, he could lose all those relics as well. I would like to see HallisYoScholar pick up all the relics in his base, though, but we'll see, we'll see. And yeah, castles do eat walls relatively quickly because they fire so many shots compared to, well, you know, anything else. They fire 4 arrows, so... Alright. Shredding that wall, and he's going in. Not sure how useful these spearmen are necessarily going to be effective-wise, but Bomberland, he does have a lot on his plate. We'll see how well he can defend this. We got some monks coming in here. 2 mangonels, though, versus 1. That is not good, not good. I'm a little concerned for HallisYoScholar at this point, just because Bomberland's base layout really does favor good defense. And he's got a complete wall up again. And I think during this time, he's just going to get a pretty huge eco advantage. It looks like he's going to perhaps consider a defensive castle of his own, maybe? He's just investing a lot in stone, so... That's what I think, that's what I think. And yeah, oh my god, HallisYoScholar is bringing, well, new definition to the term, committing to a strategy. You can't just forward castle drop your opponent. You must double castle drop your opponent. Oh my god, this is actually hilarious. Unfortunately, though, Bomberland's mangonel control is superior in this case, and that is 1 mangonel down for free. Bomberland 1, HallisYoScholar 0. But we've got another castle. This is priceless. I would like to see him rather than spreading his fire out between all of these buildings, I would really like to see him focus down this monastery. Force him to build a new monastery in the back, and really remove that extra gold income. That's what I'd really like to see. Is him to really just focus down a target, perhaps. We've got the stables coming out from Bomberland. I expect to see perhaps maybe some light cavalry or knights from him. Light cavalry do heavily resist the conversion of these monks, so they could be quite effective. Although I suppose that's why HallisYoScholar has all these spearmen here, is just in case. And yeah, he is wisely focusing down the monastery now, and another castle coming out. This is hilarious. This monastery is unquestionably going down, and we've got 1 samurai here just for kicks. Uh-oh! It is Castle Wars, gentlemen! Castle Wars. There are... Wow, they've got 3 castles in 1 base, 2 of which are not even Bomberland's castles. This is actually hilarious. This monastery is going down, and... Wow, I have seen some crazy forward strategies in my time, but Jesus, this is pretty funny, actually, not gonna lie. HallisYoScholar has finally put down a 2nd TC, though. That is extremely late, and his eco is really far behind Bomberland's right now, as you can tell. Yeah, Bomberland just has a much better eco, and that's to be expected, especially because he's the Persians as well. I do really want to see him finishing down this monastery. You really don't want to let Bomberland getting all this extra gold. If he focused down that monastery, he probably could have cost Bomberland an additional, like, 200 gold, maybe. Alright, so we've got the castles from both players now. Wow, Bomberland's going to lose a lot of buildings. He's going to lose his blacksmith as well. I wonder what these stables are for. Alright, so this forward action from HallisYoScholar is doing work, and Aw, snap! Bomberland is like, I have lost my base, so you're going to lose yours. And this is one of the major risks of a forward, is that basically if Bomberland can successfully stall this, HallisYoScholar has absolutely zero defense in his own base. So that is going to be a problem. So I expect, like a mangonel over here, and wow, yeah, HallisYoScholar is going to have really no way of defending this. All he could do is just pull off his troops off this and then leave his entire forward vulnerable to tons of battering rams and shenanigans. Yep, we've got light cavalry and bloodlines coming out. I love to see that for those pesky monks. Although it looks like HallisYoScholar has just stopped building monks, and that's fine. Although I really would like to see him grab all these relics, actually. I feel like it's a huge waste that he has 2 relics in his base, and he's not exploiting that, because that never happens. Either way, though, both players are actually playing this quite nicely, and it's really nice to see a much closer match here. I dig this, because I'm not actually sure who's going to win this match. It's going to be difficult to say. HallisYoScholar really has to watch this mangonel really carefully, but because Bomberland is, superior mangonel control here. I think Bomberland will probably lose this mangonel, but it'll be oh so worth it, because, oh my gosh, yeah, if Bomberland just garrisons and then he starts converting these, he's going to get a lot of free military units, and that was a big misplay from HallisYoScholar. Huge miss micro here, because this mangonel lived, and he really overly committed. He just gave 3 samurai to Bomberland for free! And another castle coming up from Bomberland. 4 castles in 28 minutes from both players here. This is ridiculous. And I don't think this forward is going to be able to finish Bomberland, especially because Bomberland happens to have the map generation of the gods, and he's got all this back area. If you look at the damage done to Bomberland, it's not super significant, because, the point of these huge forwards is that you can deny your opponent their main gold supply, and that can be huge, but in this case, Bomberland's got 2 golds in the back. Like, he doesn't care. And, he can shift all his farms to the back, he doesn't care. And now we got some siege weapons coming into this other forward siege workshop. This is hilarious. Both players here showing us how creative and silly they can be on Arena. Just sort of mix things up. And yeah, these double health town centers that the Persians get, I don't know, I'm nervous for HallisYoScholar at this point, because he's done damage, but he hasn't done enough. The map generation is in favor of Bomberland in this case, and he really has to question whether, oh no, the miss micro on the villagers, they're gonna die! Yeah, and, okay, yeah, the mangonel micro is not here. Bomberland, I think, has gotten like 4 free mangonels or something this game. It might have been just 3, but either way, that makes a pretty significant difference. We've got moonwalking foragers over here. That is... Alright, I have seen everything today. I have seen the double forward castle push, the triple forward castle push. Okay. Wow. This is one of the weirdest games I have ever watched of Age of Empires 2. Wow, okay. Moonwalking forager, 3 forward castles. Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is really, really weird. I do not like this 3rd forward castle, though. Mostly because this castle is being attacked by that castle, and castles do reasonably modest damage to each other because they fire 4 arrows, and I have no idea what he plans to do with this castle. I don't know. I mean, he can keep repairing it. I mean, I guess his only hope at this point, since he's been so badly outboomed by Bomberland, well, it's not. I guess it's not like huge, but yeah, he really has been outboomed. That why not commit as much as possible, I suppose. Although this is a textbook definition of overcommitting if I've ever seen it. Although I love it because, man, this is hilarious to watch. I have so much respect for him for bringing a new meaning to the term castle dropping. He is showing us how real men forward. HallisYoScholar, the manliest forward player I've ever seen. Alright, the light cavalry are coming, so it looks like Bomberland has finally recognized that, perhaps 32 minutes in is time to invest in a few military units. Alright, so we've got a castle sissy fight here. I'm imagining 2 people just sort of slapping each other back and forth, so this is going to happen for approximately 10,000 years real time, and then one of the castles will actually fall down at some point. However, Bomberland is going ham, and this is probably going to be the game-winning decision from Bomberland here. He has recognized that removing this forward, like HallisYoScholar has infected his base with herpes, and this thing is going to stay here forever. That's not going anywhere, basically. So Bomberland is like, well, you know, my base is screwed, so I'm taking you down with me. Like, it's going to take forever to remove all these castles. So Bomberland has recognized that HallisYoScholar has exactly 0 base defense, and he's just going to try and end it here. Because, you know, Bomberland can stall this. He's going to eventually lose, like, most of his base, but he can stall. HallisYoScholar cannot stall at his base. And it looks like he has got no reaction to this at all. And yeah, that's the problem with, as we've seen in one of the matches that I commentated with, like, Comtan in it, overcommitting on your forward leaves your base extremely vulnerable, and HallisYoScholar's just building up his eco while he's like, you know, I'm just building an eco. And oh my god, Bomberland is putting down a forward castle of his own. So this game, we have seen like 4 forward castles. This game is ridiculous. I feel like he's doing this just for irony purposes, but god, this is funny. I love that he is forwarding his own castle, and yeah, using the light cavalry to raid. I think this is the point in which it's over, but man, that is funny. I love how Bomberland is like, I'm gonna forward you while you forward me. I'm taking you down with me, and yeah, the forward castle coming out from him. HallisYoScholar recognizes that the game is a little beyond his control at this point. He did a lot of damage to Bomberland, but at the end of the day, he had absolutely no way of defending his own base, whereas Bomberland could have stalled for just a bit longer. So Bomberland, a really, really experienced player, you can tell. You know, he's got great game sense, and this decision-making on his part is what won the game. If he tried to keep defending his base, he unquestionably would have lost, but he was like, screw it. If you're gonna forward castle me, I'm gonna forward castle you. And wow, that was a really, really entertaining game. That was one of the funniest games of Age of Empires 2 I have ever seen. So, wow, great game from both players here. Let's check out the achievements. Yep. That was pretty funny. That was pretty darn funny. You can see the eco difference here. Not necessarily massive, but it does matter. Bomberland just did have a, you know, slightly better eco, slightly better. Yeah, I don't know. It was a really, really funny game. Yeah, Bomberland had a better eco. Not by a large margin, because again, you know, he was having to deal with 3 castles in his base, but thankfully, because Bomberland had so many minerals in the back, and so much space in the back of his base, he could survive that forward long enough that he could drop his own castle on HallisYoScholar. So really, really funny and entertaining and good game from both players here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. As usual, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, and you know the rest. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm going to be back in a few minutes, and then we will continue.